Welcome back to another episode on Photoshop Basics series on Webtrickshome. Today we'll be talking about the most overlooked tool in Photoshop, that's the Type tool. You might be thinking, what's new in Type tool? We have been using it on other word processing applications, but believe me, there's a lot more than that. Let's get started. You can see the Type tools right below the Paint tool group in the Tools bar. Right click on it and you can see a couple of Type tools there, namely Horizontal Type tool, Vertical Type tool, Horizontal Type Mask tool, and Vertical Type Mask tool. You can hit the shortcut key T on your keyboard to select the Type tool and hold the Shift key and hit T to toggle between them. Let's look at the Horizontal Type tool first. Select it and you can see a couple of options on the options bar. Let's go through each of them. The first option here is the typeface or the font family option that allows you to choose a design for your text. If you have worked in some word processing applications, then it's nothing new. You can find two font types here, OpenType and TrueType fonts, denoted by O and T respectively on the left side on the list. TrueType font was developed by Apple Computer and licensed by Microsoft, while OpenType was developed by Adobe in collaboration with Microsoft. OpenType is the new standard and is highly supported in Photoshop with further decorative options available. We'll see that in a short while. You won't need to install fonts separately for Photoshop. All the fonts stored in your operating system are listed here. So if you want to add a new font, all you need to do is install it in your system files and that will be listed here. Alright, let's select one of the fonts. Then you have got the font style option to choose either you want the fonts to be narrow, regular, bold or italic or a mix of those options. If you opted for a TrueType font, the font style option might not be available. Let's try one out here. And you can see the font style option is grayed out. Let's select one of the OpenType for now. Then you can see the font size option. You can get some values on the drop down, but you can use any value from 0.01 to 1296 points. Let's select one from the drop down for now and type something. You can see the type cursor with a boundary, which means you are going to type in a new layer. And you have got two ways for typing, namely point typing and paragraph typing. Let's see the point typing first. And for point typing, all you need to do is click on a point from where you want to add text and then start typing. It's a good option for headings and subheadings, but not an ideal one for paragraph typing. Hit OK to confirm typing, or you can cancel it. With the same text layer selected, let's play with the styles and you can see how the appearance changes. You can manipulate the text size by dragging as well as typing in a value here. And since it's a vector layer, you can even transform it to a larger or small size and the quality will remain the same. Then you've got the anti-alias option here to define the smoothness on the edges. Let's see it in a single larger text. And whenever you need to make changes on an existing text layer, move your mouse on top of the same text. When you see the cursor appears without a boundary, click on and you'll be working on the same layer. Let's remove the entire word and type a single letter instead. Let's make it further larger. Play with the options. Well, it's not visible. Let's zoom in a bit. And you can see how these options work. You can go with any option you like. Let's see the alignment options then. And for that, let's change it to a word rather than a single letter. And you can see here, this is left align. And what's the reference point for this alignment? Well, when you are point typing, the first point where you click your mouse for typing or the leftmost edge of your text is the reference point. Let's check it out with a guideline that will be clearer. Let's select the center alignment option and you can see the reference point is at the center of the text. Let's make the text a bit shorter for a better view and you can see the reference point is in the center. And if you selected the right alignment option, the endpoint of the text will be aligned to the reference point. And with the left alignment option, the start point is aligned to the reference point. Let's clear this up and write on a new layer. And then you have got the text color option here. The colors on the color swatches here doesn't affect the text color. You'll need to define the text color from the options bar. And one more thing you should know about the Type tool is that if your cursor is active on a text layer, any changes you make on the options bar is not going to affect the existing text contents. Only the new text that is going to be added will be affected. And since you have multiple colors on the layer, the color swatch is unable to display the color here. Once the cursor is inactive, you can click on any of the options to define the appearance of the entire text layer. Then you have got the option to warp your text. You have got a couple of predefined settings here. You can play with the degree of bend along with the vertical and horizontal distortion. If you want your text to appear curvy, you can see the options if that's what you wanted. You'll see a better option for that in a short while though. Then you have got the option to toggle the characters and paragraph panel over here, and this provides you furthermore additional options to define the appearance of your text. You can see all the options from the options bar here in the characters panel. You can change the values from here too. You have got the typeface, font style, font size, and if you have got multiple lines of text in a single layer, then you can define the spacing between those lines from here. It's called leading. The default value auto will add 1.2 times the size of the text as spacing. You can opt for a definite value here if you want to increase or decrease the spacing. Then you have got the kerning option that allows you to define spacing between two characters. Simply place your cursor between the letters and increase or decrease the value. And if you want to manipulate the space between all text on a layer or a certain group of characters, you can define the tracking from here. Select the characters if you want to add spacing between certain characters only and define the tracking. Or don't make any selection and define the tracking to affect the entire layer. Then you have got the option to vertically and horizontally scale text. This is highly used in magazines. You can see the changes here. You can also shift the baseline of a character or group of characters from here. A negative value pulls it downwards and a positive value pushes it upwards. You can create a drop cap effect with this option here. Then you have got the color option here. Then you have got some options to make the text bold and italicized if that's not available by default. It happens with the TrueType fonts as we saw earlier. Then you have got the option to convert all the text to capital letters and even small caps for the small letters. Then you have got the option to make any letters superscript or subscript. Let's see in an example. Then you have got the option to underline text and even add a strike through here. Then you have got some ligature options here. That's not supported in this typeface, but before that you can see the language and anti-alias options here. Let's reset all the character settings here and see the ligatures option then. With the ligature options, you can stylize some regularly appearing character sets like FI, ST, TR, RN, etc. along with ordinals and fractions. Let's add some text here, and you can already see the F and I are joined here. And you can also see a couple of ligatures are available with this My Real Pro font face. You can check the ligature options on if you want to stylize them, or check them off to leave them as they are. The standard ligature option is working here with the FI. No changes are made with the stylish ligature here. The ordinal is not working. Let's try the fractions, and you can see that changing its appearance, right? Let's try the others with Adobe Castellan Pro. You can see the ordinal is working here. Let's see the discretionary ligature to here, and you can see how the S and T are displayed here. Let's go with another font face, Comic Sans, and see what we get. You can see the effect of discretionary ligature here on the FI. Then you have got swash available here, and that works with the capital letters. Let's make some letters capital here and apply the swash. And with stylistic alternatives, you can see the characters A being replaced here with another style. Mostly you can see it changing the small letters A and Z. Let's see the contextual alternative then with another font face, Gabriola. And just like other ligatures, you can see it affecting T and U, R and N, and T and R here. And sadly, I haven't found any font face supporting tilting alternatives so far. Let me know if I found one through the comments. So that's all about character styling in Photoshop with Type tool. Then let's see the other way of typing text in Photoshop, and that's called paragraph typing. Click on a point and drag a mouse. You can see a text box created. That's what is used for paragraph typing in Photoshop, and that is highly used when designing brochures or magazines in Photoshop, where you need to add text in some defined areas and align them too. You can type anything and that will be clipped inside the text box. Any character that doesn't fit inside the text box will be hidden. Instead of writing such gibberish text, let's go to the Type menu on the menu bar and select Paste Lorem Ipsum. We'll see the other options in a short while, and you can see Photoshop's version of Lorem Ipsum here. Let's see the options on the Type menu then. The first option allows you to toggle the character panel and paragraph panel along with styles panels. The character and paragraph panels can be toggled from here as well. Then you have got the anti-alias option that we already learned. Then you have got the orientation option that allows you to change the horizontal typing to vertical typing or vice versa. Then you have got the option to apply ligatures for open type fonts. Then you have got the option to create work paths from text. Generally, a single or a group of characters are best used to create work paths so that we can manipulate the anchor points and add curves to generate on style of text. You can also convert the text layer to shape layer. Then you have got the option to rasterize type layer and convert it to a raster layer that can be used to cut out parts of a text. Otherwise, you can't cut the text into parts. You can also convert paragraph type to point type or vice versa from here. You can also warp the entire paragraph from here too. You can also define the font preview size from here, and that will make it easier to choose the best font you want from here. Then you have got the language option with default features selected. If you went with East Asian features, you'll find some more leading options available in characters and paragraph panels. With the paragraph typing, you can add indentations and paragraph spacings from the paragraph panel. Let's have a look at that one. You can see here, you get the justify options with the last line on the left, center, right and justified here. Then you have got the indentation option. Let's add a guideline for that. Type in a value in the indentation boxes. And you can see the paragraphs leaving spaces on the defined size. Then you have got the option to indent first line of each paragraph here. Then you have got the option to define spacing between each paragraphs. You can add that space at the top or at the bottom of the paragraphs. Top value won't affect the first paragraph and the bottom value won't affect the last one. And if you don't want the words to break down while justifying, check off the hyphenation option. Since we converted the paragraph type to point type earlier, each line of this paragraph is acting as a separate paragraph. Let's replace it with a fresh paragraph and break it down to see the spacings. And you can see the spacings here look proper now. Let's go to the characters and paragraph styles panel then. Here you can see nothing. You can add a new paragraph style from here. Then all you need to do is double click the style and select the options you'd like to add to the style from the dialog box that appears and hit OK to save your preferences. Then all you need to do is select the type layer in which you want to apply those styles and click on the style on the paragraph styles panel and that will be applied. It's similar for character styles too. Let's clear up the workspace. And one more thing you need to learn as a beginner is that whenever you select the type tool and click on the document, a type layer is added to your layers panel without any regards to either you type something or not. Maybe like you change the values here, but don't type. Instead of cancelling the type layer, you exit the type tool by selecting some other tools, and then you start typing again on a new layer or do something else. If you look at the layers panel, you can see a type layer with a layer number. That is an empty type layer. All the type layers are named with the text they contain unless you change them. You need to avoid such things to keep the layers panel clean and develop a good habit on Photoshop. Alright, let's clear it up and look at the option to write text on curves. Since we have already launched the Pen tool, let's create a random curve with the Pen tool in path mode. And instead of adding text and warping them, all you need to do is select the type tool, move your mouse over the path from where you want to start typing, and once you see the type cursor with a curve, click on and start typing. I'll use best lorem ipsum here too, and you can see the text flowing on a curved path. Let's keep the font size a bit down to see more text, and all the overflowing characters are hidden. Easy, right? And that's the method used to write text in a circular path as well. You might have seen a lot of logos and rubber stamps like that. Let's create one such logo before moving further then. We haven't talked about the shape tool so far in the series. Let's click on this tool group and select elliptical tool. You have already seen these options, right? Let's select a stroke and leave the field empty. Click on the document and type equal value on both width and height boxes. Let's say I want to go with a 500 pixel. Hit enter or click OK and you can see the circle. Well, it's too small for the canvas. Let's transform it. And while transforming, if you hold the Alt or Option key along with the Shift key, you can transform the shape from the center, maintaining the width and height ratio as it is. Well, that seems okay. Let's duplicate it and make it a bit more bigger so that we could write between the rings. Well, that seems okay. Now select the type tool, select the options you want to apply, then you can write on the path, right? Let's see one more thing. Move your cursor inside the shape. You can see a type cursor with elliptical boundary. Click on and you can see a text box created on a single click. Let's paste lorem ipsum here. And you can see you can also use the shape as a text box and add text inside it. Let's cancel it and move your cursor on the outline instead. And you can see the type cursor with the curve. Click on and type something. Let's say Photoshop type tool tutorial. Let's change the font size. Select the path selection tool. Let's hide the circles for convenience. Now you can see the path where the text was added. There are 2 points on the path. One is circle that denotes the end point of the path and the other a diamond that denotes the midpoint. You can also see a crosshair that is overlapping with the circled point which denotes the starting point. To keep things easy, I'll drag the midpoint to the horizontal center of the circle. If you see the ruler, the midpoint is at 50% as my ruler is set to measure percentage. And since my text is center aligned, it gets divided perfectly on each side from the center. Let's transform the text a bit to best fit the ring. Well, that looks good for me. Again, I'm going to select the same circle and type in the path. Again, hide the circles. Go with the path selection tool and move the text to the bottom. And flip the path inside by dragging the point inside the circle. Well, the text is in the curve as we wanted. Let's transform it and place it between the rings then. The text is too short. Let's make it a bit longer. Now, again, I'll go to the shape tool group and select the custom shape tool this time. You can see the shapes here. I already have a star selector here. That's what I wanted. You can see the shapes in the drop down. Click on the settings gear on the top right of the drop down and select all. If you don't see a star here, select the star. Remove the stroke and add black fill. Then hold the shift key and click and drag your mouse to create a perfect star. That looks good. Let's duplicate the layer and move it across on the other side. Hold shift while dragging to move in a straight path. Let's add a Photoshop icon in the middle. Well, this is in the PNG, so I'll mask the checkerboard here. Play with the colors to your liking, and you'll get a logo with text inside a circle in a circular path. Alright? Let's clear up the workspace once again and see the other tools then. The second tool is the vertical type tool. All the options remain the same. The only difference is the orientation. It adds text from top to bottom instead of left to right. This mode is used in traditional Chinese, Japanese, and Korean scripts. And moreover, those scripts are written from right to left. For other scripts, it might be an option to write titles on the cover page of the magazine or brochures. Let's clear up the workspace and see the horizontal type mask tool then. This gives you nothing but a selection that replicates the text. And once you confirm the text, you can't make any changes. So you'll need to select the entire text and make changes before confirmation. Once you're done, confirm it and you can see a selection instead of text. Let's add a wallpaper and see how it looks. Type in with the type mask tool and hit OK. You can see the selection here. Before doing anything, let's duplicate the image layer. Now, all you need to do is click on the layer mask icon, hold the Alt or Option key and click on the layer mask and you can see what it has done. Let's go back with the same key, hide the layer beneath it and you can see only that section of the image is visible. This concept is also very popular in magazine cover designs. To make such text prominent, you can use the blending options, click on the FX icon at the bottom of the layer panel, or you can right click on the layer itself and select the blending option from there, or you can even double click on the right edge of the layer and load the blending option dialog box. You can check each of the blending options one by one and see the result it produces by its default settings, or click on the name and play with the settings that appear. Select the bevel and emboss for a 3D appearance. Style defines the position of shading, where the options are outer, inner, emboss and pillow emboss. Technique defines the formation of the shading, where the options are smooth, chisel hard and chisel soft. Depth defines the strength of the shading. Direction defines the position of the shading. Size defines the size of shading. Soften defines the softness of the edges of the shading. Angle defines the angle of light source, or you can opt with use global light. That makes the application use the default settings for a light source. Altitude defines the altitude of light source. Gloss contour adds curves to the shadings. Then you have got the anti-alias and even highlight and shadow blend modes. You can also make the changes your customized default settings, or you can revert the settings to the default one. Contour allows you to add variations in shading curves with additional options provided to smoothen the edges and define the range of contour. Texture allows you to add textures to the shading. It provides you with the option to select desired pattern, define its original point, scale the pattern, and define the strength, along with the option to invert the pattern as well as link the pattern with the layer. Stroke allows you to add stroke to the layer. You can choose the size, position, blend mode and opacity along with the content to fill the stroke. Size allows you to define the size of the stroke. Position allows you to define the position of the stroke, where the options are outside, center and inside. And we have already learned about the fill option in our selection tutorials. That's all what you get here as well. Then you have got inner shadow to add shadow inside the layer. You can modify the blend mode, color, opacity, noise, angle, size, distance and intensity from the options available. Choke allows you to control the sharpness of the shadow. And you can add grains as noise to the shadow. Then you have got inner blue to make the edges of the selected layer soft and bright. You can modify the opacity, size, noise, etc. in these options too. Jitter allows you to randomize the flow of gradient in the glow. Then you have got the satin option that allows you to have metallic effect on your layer. You can modify the opacity, size, distance, color and angle in this mode too. Distance allows you to define the offset distance for the effect. Then you have got color overlay to override the color on a layer with the selected one, where the options include blend mode, color and opacity. Then you have got the gradient overlay, and you know everything about gradient overlay, right? Here you can manipulate the opacity, style, angle, color, scale and transparency. Then you have got pattern overlay that allows you to add patterns to your layer. And the options include type, opacity, and scale. And you already know how to work on the pattern, right? Then you have got the auto glow option that allows you to have a glowing effect outwards of the outlines of the layer. You can modify the opacity, spread, size, technique, range, and jitter. Then you have got drop shadow that allows you to have a shadow effect on your layer. You can modify the color, opacity, angle, spread, distance, size, and noise level in this option too. You can use these options with not only the type mask tool but also with any other layers, shapes, text, or anything else. Once you get the idea of what you want from the blending options, you can click on the FX icon at the bottom of the layers panel and directly select the blending option you want to go with. Finally, you have got the vertical type mask tool, and that allows you to create a type mask vertically. Alright, well, that's all about the type tool in Photoshop. I hope this video really helps you to a greater extent to learn Photoshop. Hit like if you found this video useful. If you think you have got some ideas that can help me produce more better videos, share it through the comments. Let me know what you feel about the video through the comments as well. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe our channel for more videos. Thank you.